Hello everyone and happy Mother's Day. The film Slobs love our mothers, I love his mother, and he loves mine. So today, in honor of Mother's Day, we're going to give you 10 of our favorite mother performances on film.
So we're going to talk about mothers in celebration of Mother's Day. 5 performances, 5 mothers on film. Not necessarily the best mothers, not necessarily the worst mothers, but our 5 picks for mothers. What's your first pick?
My first pick is Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. This is a film that I grew up with and is very dear to my heart. What I like about this performance is that unlike the first one, where she's kind of the scared and...
Like a damsel in distress.
Damsel in distress. Yeah. She is the badass mom. You know, she'll kick anyone's ass.
There are 215 bones in the human body. That's one. Now don't move.
You know, it's stuff like that that I really love about that performance.
And the whole movie it really is about her trying to save her son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a powerful mother, and like you said, she's so badass in that movie, and like nobody's gonna fuck with her.
And she, compared to the first one, she looks completely different. She totally transformed herself.
7 years apart? 6 years apart?
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, different story. I mean, she knows what John grows up to be, and it's trying to save...
the world, really.
Yeah, what mother wouldn't do that, I guess.
Exactly.
So that's a good starting point for your mother. And it's one of my favorite sci-fi movies.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the best action films of all time.
Yeah, plays really well, still holds up.
Yeah.
Pop it in. A lot of people love the first one. I think the second one is better.
I
think Judgment Day is better in terms of effects, in terms of story. Edward Furlong is Edward Furlong.
I think the people that like the first one more are more of the horror film fans.
I agree.
The first one plays more like a horror movie.
Yeah, it's like that sci-fi horror.
Yeah, where the second one's more of an action adventure movie.
It's got great chase scenes in it, and she's so tough in it, and it's a good mother role. My first pick is a little bit different. It's the effect of gamma rays on Man in the Moon marigolds. Paul Newman's film, starring his wife and daughter. And Joanne Woodward plays Beatrice Hunsdorfer.
I can't miss again, Mama.
You wait another minute, Matilda. This house is gonna ferment. I found rabbit dung in my bedroom. I don't know why Mr. Goodman ever gave you that rabbit anyway. Any science teacher worth his salt would have chloroformed the thing and cut it open and let you see what made it hop or pee.
And she's this never was kind of woman. They're a low-class family. They live in like a really run-down house, and she's got her 2 daughters, and she embarrasses them a lot. She drinks and smokes, and her older daughter, is kind of going down the same path that she went, and she sees that, and it makes her depressed. And the youngest daughter is kind of brilliant, very nice and considerate and shy, but it's just basically her interaction with her daughters and how she deals with society that she can't really handle. A lot of people say it's like the worst mom on film. Because she ruins things for her daughters. She's very selfish. She's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And for Mr. Goodman, and for you, whoever the hell you are, and for Miss Hanley, too. Would you just tell her I said, thank you very much for making me wish I was dead?
She has these dreams of opening a tea room and doesn't really care about anything else. Like, this is my dream, this is what we're doing. But has no way of doing it and no means of making it happen. And it's a really depressing movie, but Joanne Woodward is probably my favorite performance.
I was going to say, this is one of the examples of not necessarily the best mother, but a great performance.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And it's about being a mother, and, she's clearly been like shit on by society, and she deserves some of the hate in the movie, but it's an amazing performance. The movie isn't as good as the performance.
Right, yeah.
But I think Paul Newman did a really good job. It's based on a play. It's a Pulitzer Prize winning play. Mm-hmm. But Joanne Woodward, I think she was on her A game for this one.
Yeah, and she's great in everything. I mean, she's one of the most underrated actresses I think there is.
Yeah, and she did a lot with him. She did a lot of movies with him, and I think that kind of hurt her.
I feel like, unfortunately, she's known as Paul Newman's wife.
Exactly.
Than as a really great actress.
Where it's not like Charles Bronson and Jill Ireland, where they did a lot of movies together, and she's just the female in his movies.
Right.
Joanne Woodward could have been, and she was. I mean, she did a lot of movies on her own.
She won an Oscar.
Yeah, it's Three Faces of Eve.
Yeah.
So she's a very strong actress on her own right, and then it's like, oh, but you're married to Paul Newman.
Right.
But yeah, that's my pick that's my first mother. Joanne Woodward as Beatrice Hunsdorfer in Effective Gamma Rays on Man in the Moon Marigolds, which is the longest name. But it makes sense if you see the movie or the play. I don't want to. Whatever. It's so old. I'll spoil it. It's basically the youngest daughter does a science experiment. And that's the name of the experiment. And it's a whole metaphor for what radiation does to flowers. And some of them die, but some of them mutate and become beautiful. Mm-hmm. And it's basically her situation with her mother is, you could let it bring you down, or you could rise above it. So, what's your next pick, Mr. Jones?
My second mother is Angela Lansbury from The Manchurian Candidate as Eleanor Iceland. I think this is probably her best performance in a career that's gone like 70 years.
And Johnny will really hit those microphones and those cameras with blood all over him, fighting off anyone who tries to help him, defending America even if it means his own death, rallying a nation of television viewers into hysteria to sweep us up into the White House with powers that will make martial law seem like anarchy.
And she is just ruthless and just awesome, and
Yeah, she's not like, it's not like her other roles too
No,
much. Like,
no.
it's a very standout performance.
yeah, this isn't Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast. This is kind of she's ruthless. She's willing to do anything to I don't want to spoil the film for any of you that haven't seen it.
It's such a good fucking movie, too.
Yeah, it's one of the best movies of the 60s. And I believe she was like 4 years younger than her son in that film.
Oh, really?
Or something like that.
60s, yeah, I guess that, yeah.
So they aged her up a little bit. But I mean, Angela Lansbury is, she's another underrated actress, I think. Where
Yeah.
I guess Murder, She Wrote is kind of her.
That's the thing. I think she's remembered for
Yeah.
doing Murder, She Wrote for
But she,
15 years or
she
whatever
had
it was.
40 years of a film
Exactly,
career
yeah.
and a theater career before that,
Yeah.
And I think anyone who's seen this film, she has to be at the top of the list for film mothers.
Yes, it's such a good performance, and it's like we said at the beginning, it's not
No.
the worst mother, but it's a good performance as a mother.
Yeah.
A lot of times, once you hit middle age, actresses were relegated to playing the mother.
Right.
It's a great role,
Yeah.
and she owns it. And I think it kind of changed the pace of who you cast in those roles. Because she was, like you said, she was younger than that the mother should have been.
Yeah.
But I think that she gave such a good performance that you overlooked that completely.
Yeah, and I think she completely steals the show, and
that's a tough thing.
yeah, in that film, it's tough to steal that film, and I think she does it, and she's incredible. Go check it out.
My next one is Kathleen Turner's performance in John Waters' film Serial Mom.
Are you a serial killer?
Chip, the only cereal I know anything about is Rice Krispies.
If you haven't seen Serial Mom, basically what it's about is a housewife, and she's married to a dentist. It's Sam Waterston.
Yep.
And they have these two teenage kids, and basically any little thing that goes against her family or inconvenience or any kind of little grievance, she ends up murdering the person. And then it ends up being a teacher makes comments about her son, so she kills him. And what's good is there's a point in the movie where all these murders are racking up, and she goes to trial for it. And she defends herself, and she just fucks with everyone and discredits her witnesses and gets away with the trial, and then kills one of the jurors. So it's one of those things, like if your mom ever stood up to you, or stood up for you rather, instead of writing him a letter or calling him, she murders him.
Kills him.
Yeah, so it's a very bizarre, bonkers. It's John Waters.
Yeah, this is more of the silly John Waters than the disgusting Pink Flamingos John Waters,
Which is still comedy, but it's completely different comedy.
Right,
It's very broad, it's very ridiculous and over the top. And Kathleen Turner went from being the sex symbol
to not being the sex symbol.
Yeah, this one's good. It's very ridiculous, very dark.
And John Waters, I can watch any John Waters film like right now.
Yeah, and I grew up on John Waters, Hairspray and Crybaby.
Right.
Like they always,
which are probably his two most commercially
and
viable films.
we always watched those. And then as I got older, I discovered Polyester and Female Trouble.
Female Trouble might be my favorite.
And but he makes good movies. They're entertaining. They're funny.
I would not suggest watching most John Waters films with your mom.
No,
I would stay away from that.
I don't think I could. What's your next one?
My next one is one that I think is one of the most hilarious ones, and that's Mama from Throw Mama from the Train, played by Anne Ramsey.
I run errands.
I'll be back in a minute.
I run my bath. I run my medicine.
I can get it for you.
Who the hell are you all of a sudden?
Let me hang it up for you.
I can hang my own goddamn.
I know that, but I would like to hang it up for
Get
you.
out of my way, you black bastard!
What?
I think that film is one of the funniest films ever made. Billy Crystal and Danny DeVito are great together, but Anne Ramsey, every time she comes on, absolutely steals it. Alan!
Yeah, exactly.
The green ones make me choke. And she's just so despicable. It's like no redeeming qualities at all.
Yeah, and this is one where we're coming off their list. You thought of it before I did.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn it, it's such a good one. Anne Ramsey is fantastic.
Yeah.
In it. And it's not really a remake of Strangers on a Train. In fact, they reference it in in it, so it can't be a
Right,
remake.
yeah.
But it's the same kind of plot device. So they took that to the next level with this relationship between Danny DeVito and Anne
his
Ramsey.
mother, yeah.
And he's childlike
Yeah.
because of how she is to him. Basically, she controls his life. And he asks Billy Crystal to kill her. And he's completely against it, but then he meets her and he's like,
Yeah.
all right, like,
Yeah,
she's
we
gonna
gotta-
have
we
to
gotta
die.
do it, yeah.
Like, and it's really funny, and she has a lot of, like you said, she's a scene stealer.
She doesn't. It's her presence in this film more than anything she says, or because she doesn't really have a lot of lines, and the lines she does have is hard to understand because she talks like this.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's just kind of there. She just looks.
But it's a lot of acting without speaking.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a lot of like the looks that she gives him,
Yeah.
her reactions to things, and she always seems disheveled. And she wasn't very old when they actually did the movie. I think she was
No.
in her 50s.
Yeah.
So it's just a great character. And, Danny DeVito plays such a lovable guy. And Billy Crystal is one of the most lovable people ever. So.
I always felt like this movie could have been made in like the 50s or the 60s with like Peter Sellers.
Yeah,
like it has that kind of like a silly, absurd,
But it's dark at the same time.
Yeah.
I get it. That's a really good pick. My next pick, not as funny. Still a Ramsey, though. It's Lynn Ramsey's We Need to Talk About Kevin.
Oh.
Which is a story. Tilda Swinton plays the mother.
You know where you're spending the afterlife.
I'm going straight to hell.
And her son commits a massacre at a school. Brings a bow, locks everyone in the gym, and brings a bow and arrow and kills a bunch of kids. Yeah. And the movie is about her coping with life after that. She's taken a lower job so she can be closer to the prison where her son is. Mm-hmm. The community hates her. She's the mother of a spree killer that killed a bunch of their children, so how could they treat her with any respect? And the movie shows how their relationship develops over time, and like right from the get-go, Kevin pretty much hates his mom.
Yeah.
And she doesn't get it, and she knows that there's something wrong with it. And John C. Reilly plays her husband, and they talk about the issues that he has, and if he needs help, and it kind of kills their marriage a little bit because John C. Reilly doesn't see it because Kevin likes him.
Right, yeah.
And Kevin, pretty much, it seems like everything he does is to make his mother miserable.
Right, yeah.
And she keeps going with it. And it's a depressing movie, very touching. It's a great performance.
It's
from
incredible
Tilda Swinton.
performance.
I don't think she was nominated for it, which was ridiculous because I remember being mad about that.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's one of the better performances
Yeah,
of the last few years.
I love the movie. It's very dark, but it shows that relationship, like the mother and son, like this is your son, he did this atrocity, hates you, ruined your life, and you still go visit him in prison and give him a hug and say you love him. And
I think one of the more fascinating things about the film is that Kevin doesn't kill his mother. He kills his father, he kills his brother, and he kills
his sister.
Yeah,
he kills his father and his sister who loved him. They have respect, but I think he kills them because it's like, okay, here you go, mom. Now you have nothing.
Live with it. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to deal with the fact that they're dead, you're alone.
And the film is told through flashbacks, and we kind of see all this stuff that Kevin does to his mother for seemingly no
reason at all. Yeah.
He's just a bad kid for his mom. It's a really tough film to watch. Like, we watched it together for the first time, and typically when we watch a movie, we're kind of talking about it, whatever. I don't think we said anything through the whole film.
Yeah, it was depressing. He doesn't give a reason for it, and she asks him too when she's visiting him, and why? Yeah. And he goes, I don't know. And pretty much in those words, murderers have mothers. It's and they have to deal with that, and it's tough. And it's a fantastic film.
Great film.
Lynn Ramsey also did another mother movie, Ratcatcher, from 1999, which is one of the darkest openings I've seen since becoming a parent. Yeah, that's my third mom, and it's a dark one. So hopefully your next one isn't.
Yeah,
as dark.
My next one, not to totally switch gears, but Catherine O'Hara as Kate McAllister in Home Alone.
Another Kevin mother.
We need to talk about Kevin. Not the best mother, considering.
But she's not a bad. People always say how do you let this happen?
She did leave her son behind twice. I mean, that's all I gotta say.
Which is my favorite part of the second one. He goes, well, this has happened before.
Yeah. But at the same time, the reason I put her on there is really her chemistry with her husband. As a mother, like she's like what you want in a mother. Like, she's balanced and she's tough and she's this and she's that. And in both Home Alone 1 and 2, she breaks your heart at the end of both of them.
Oh, Kevin, I'm so sorry.
One thing I like about it too is the movies. I mean, it is about Macaulay Culkin being home alone.
Yeah.
And you know, there's the story, the burglars and everything like that. But the rest of the movie is about this mother's journey. Like, no matter what, I'm getting home to my son. When she sells all of her jewelry and everything, when all she had to, if she waited, she would have gotten there 30 seconds later if she waited with her husband. But she's like, I don't care.
And she gets in a van with this polka group.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she does anything. And in the second one, she goes out at night searching New York City for her son.
I love both of those films. Again, they're childhood favorites of mine.
They're American classics.
They are. And you know, I think she gets overlooked because she's not Kevin and she's not the two burglars. But I think her performance is just as great as the others.
And there's also the fact that Catherine O'Hara, freaking hilarious.
Funny,
And she still is. I mean, if you look at the Christopher Guest films, and to this day, Schitt's Creek
is hilarious.
Which is amazing. If you haven't seen Schitt's Creek, watch it. It's fantastic. She's so fucking good at it.
Yeah.
And she's great. And she did a lot of the. This is more of a toned down family film.
Yeah.
And it's more of a serious performance too.
Yeah, she doesn't have to be funny in this film.
Yeah, exactly.
She has her moments where she's funny, but it's a very dramatic role for her.
Yeah.
And someone who comes from, you know, like a sketch comedy and an improv background like her, it could have been a bad performance, but she really makes it a good one.
Very grounded.
It's written in a way where they're not that overbearing kind of like caricature of parents, you know, that, you know, looking down upon you kind of a thing. They're just parents.
Exactly.
And they're dealing with 25 people that are in their house on the most stressful time of the year.
Yeah, and you can understand to a certain extent, you know, they did the head count. And really, the head count is what throws everything off because...
It's really Buzz's fault.
The one daughter fucks up the head count.
Yeah. She's what the French call les incompetents, that's for sure.
So my next movie is made around the same time as Home Alone. It's Wild at Heart, which is one of my favorite David Lynch movies. A lot of people don't like it. It stars Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern, and they're this couple that, you know, he's a criminal, and her mother does not want her involved with him at all. Like, she hates him so much to the point where she's sending hitmen and private investigators and everything. And it's Diane Ladd, and it's such an over-the-top, bizarre performance. Yeah. And I love it. Like, she's my favorite part of them. First time I watched it, I'm like, all right, Nicolas Cage is pretty funny. Like, it's a pretty good performance by him, but she's insane, and you love it. And it's got an amazing cast. I mean, it's got, besides those three, it's Harry Dean Stanton's in it, and Isabella Rossellini, and Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
And Crispin Glover.
The cool thing with that is it's Laura Dern's actual mother playing her mother.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and you know, it's a David Lynch film, so it's weird, but it's not, you know, it's not Mulholland Drive.
No. There's story. It's there's more story than Mulholland Drive.
It's one of David Lynch's more straightforward films, like Blue Velvet and like The Elephant Man.
Which are amazing. It is a bizarre film, but it's, you know, it's this criminal keeps committing crimes, and Laura Dern's like, I don't care, Mom, I love him, and she's like, I will kill him and destroy you all, kind of thing. And Diane Ladd is just so... and you don't really expect her to have a performance like that.
Yeah, no.
And it's just... she does, and it's great.
Yeah, she's not one of those actresses that really... you're used to, like, pushing the envelope.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Johnny, sweetheart. Well, yeah, I'm going to tell you. Listen, honey, listen. I want you to know something, sweetheart. I've done something so bad.
We're thinking about this Mother's Day, and it's like, I want a mother that you don't really know why her relationship with her daughter is like that.
My final mother is not at all like that, actually. She's actually very caring and very nice and easy, and a laid-back performance by Brenda Fricker as Mrs. Brown in My Left Foot.
You have my heart broken, Christy Brown. Sometimes I think you are my heart. Look, if I could give you my legs, I would gladly take yours. What's wrong with you, Christy?
I'm sorry, Mom.
It's up to her for him to survive, really. He can't really survive on his own. And I think she is one of the nicest and most caring mothers, and Brenda Fricker is just an amazing actress, and she won an Oscar for this role. I can't say enough about how great the film is and her performance in that film. And it's hard to kind of match Daniel Day-Lewis in any film, and I think she does as good a job as anyone ever has. Really one of the best performances. She's a great actress in everything she ever has done.
Yeah, I think it's a very good performance. Like, again, it's just a mother.
Yeah.
think she does a really good job in it. I'm not the biggest fan of this movie. I love the acting in it, but the story itself.
Right, yeah.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, he sure is.
And that's the thing is he's an asshole, and everyone has to deal with it, including Brenda Fricker. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't put it in mine, but I didn't. So.
Right, I did.
You did.
It's my list. You know, she doesn't do anything really big in this film. It's a laid-back, reserved performance, and you know, I like that about it because you have Daniel Day-Lewis who has to be large in this role.
Exactly. It's he's it has to be about how he is with society, and she needs to be the grounded. And it's one of those mother nominations that I agree with. What was the one? Silver Linings Playbook. Oh, Jackie Weaver.
Yeah.
Jackie Weaver was nominated for Silver Linings Playbook, and you watch it, and you're like, why? And I'm nothing against Jackie Weaver because she's really good in Animal Kingdom, which I almost picked, which was going to be one of my mothers, is her in Animal Kingdom. But you watch Silver Linings Playbook, and it's like, I feel like they just threw a nomination at her. She doesn't really do anything with the role. Brenda Fricker is a much deeper character in this than most mothers are in films.
You know, she has depth, and, you know, it's a well-written role, and she takes every word and, you know, makes them great.
I'm going into the Wayback Machine for mine. Might be the oldest movie that we talk about, or that we've talked about. Yeah, it definitely is. Mildred Pierce. Joan Crawford. It's one of her best performances. Much like Joanne Woodward in Gamma Rays, she has 2 daughters. It's about her relationship with them. She's married. The marriage falls apart because she cares more about her daughters than anything else. Yeah. Her older daughter wants to be a social climber, doesn't care about anything. She's super self.
I know. I want you to have nice things. And you will have. Wait and see. I'll get you everything, anything you want. I promise.
How?
I don't know. But I will. I promise.
She doesn't care about her mother. Her mother is a baker and can't give her what she wants. The younger daughter is the shy tomboy. The younger daughter passes away. She has pneumonia. So now Mildred puts everything into the older daughter. Like, this is you're my life kind of thing. Buys her things, does things for her. Starts a restaurant that becomes a chain, becomes successful, but it's still not making her happy. Yeah. She marries again. She marries somebody more well off to keep providing these things for her daughter. Yeah. Framing structure of the movie is the second husband's been murdered. So you're going back and forth with, you know, how she did it. And she's trying to take the rap for the murder. Like, oh, I did it, but it was the daughter. Yeah. So it's that last kind of, I've given you everything I can. Let me at least try to take the fall for you. Right. But they basically the cops don't buy it. They knew it was the daughter, and they get the daughter on it, and they have this last exchange. And basically, the daughter's still selfish, doesn't care that her mother gave her her entire life. Yeah. Joan Crawford was a star.
Oh, for sure.
But this, in my opinion, is her real acting ability.
Yeah, she's an actress in this film.
Exactly.
I think this is a film that could have been very stuffy. Yeah. It could have been a very stiff 1940s film, but I think Joan Crawford and Michael Curtiz directed. I think that makes this film one of the great films of all time. I've said for years that this is the best lighting in any film. That film noir kind of stark lighting. Joan Crawford is transcendent in this film, and she won the Oscar for it.
As she should have.
Very famous picture of her in her hospital bed holding the Oscar, which a lot of people think was staged for dramatic purposes because Joan Crawford. But she's tremendous in it, and it's a really great film. Great, and another mother that is just trying to provide for their kid.
Yeah, and that's really what mothers come down to in a lot of films, is how they interact with another character. So I like picking the mother's the main character, but sometimes they don't have to be. No. Sometimes with Brenda Fricker or a Diane Ladd, like or Catherine O'Hara, they're not the main character. Yeah. But they're needed for the story. Right. And they're just great performances. And some are funny, some are really like touching, and some are really depressing, and some are like Linda Hamilton. So it becomes that. But those are our 5 Mother's Day picks each. 10 total. So that's 10. And happy Mother's Day. So do you have any honorable mentions that you want to talk about?
You know, I thought about putting Shirley MacLaine in terms of endearment in this list because she, throughout the film, is kind of that stiff, hardened mother, and then, you know, once the shit hits the fan, you find out that she actually does care.
Excuse me. It is after 10. Give my daughter the pain shot, please.
Mrs. Greenway, I was going to.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
In just a few minutes.
Well, please, it's after 10. It's after 10. I don't see why she has to have this pain.
Ma'am, it's not my patient.
It's time for her shot. You understand? Do something. All she has to do is hold out until 10. And it's past 10. She's in pain. My daughter is in pain. Give her
what's happening
Yeah.
with her daughter. And it's, you know, I don't love the movie, but I think her performance and that character, more specifically, is a good character.
Yeah. And we talk about mothers in older films. Marty.
Yeah.
It's a great...
Put on the blue suit.
It's a good mother. Bunny Lake is Missing.
Yeah.
Is a good one, which is basically everyone's doubting this woman that her child exists. Forrest Gump, Sally Field does everything for her son, essentially, and he does everything for her.
Well, your mama sure does care about your schooling, son.
A little more obscure, Friday the 13th.
Perfect. Yeah.
She becomes the killer and murders everyone for something that happened to her son years ago.
Oh, I couldn't let them open this place again. Could I? Not after what happened.
You have any? And there's one more that I did have. It's a very small role. The mom in Boogie Nights.
Oh yeah.
Because you're too stupid.
I'm not stupid.
Yes, you are.
Please, don't fucking do that. Please, don't be mean to me.
I'm not being mean to you. You're just too stupid to see it.
Norma Bates is another very
Yeah.
great film mother. This is a film that we won't spoil, so you'll have to go watch Psycho from 1960 in order to find out why Norma Bates is such a great mother.
And it really is too, because the whole movie you're like, this poor guy,
Yeah.
dealing with the mother treating him that way and
Yeah.
controlling him. And
So those are our 10 mothers plus honorable mentions. If you have any that you think we should have talked about, let us know. Send us an email, tweet us, like our Facebook page, and subscribe to all of our stuff. And we'll be back.
We talked about Joan Crawford and we didn't bring up Mommy Dearest.
Oh my God!
Faye Dunaway as Joan Crawford in Mommy Dearest.
Yeah.
So there's that one too.
Yeah.
So go watch that.
Maybe we'll throw up a quick clip.
Don't fuck with me, fellas! This ain't my first time at the rodeo.
Put them all together, they spell more.